Hey there, Tess here. I'm having a moment. Wait a second, I'm restarting, and it's not saying connected for some reason. Okay. Um, there we go. Welcome to Voices of the Global Awakening, Tuesdays with Tess. Thank you for showing up. This is episode number 44, which I have been inspired to call Truth Every Second. And I'm a little discombobulated because as I was preparing the description portion that I always do before launching the live, it was telling me that my account has been temporarily restricted. First, it said for 23 hours, and as I've been working on a get around, it's now counting down to 22 hours, and I really had no idea whether I was going to be able to go live here today or not. And in whatever the wisdom is of Facebook or Meta, there is no explanation. Hi, Stu. I'm very happy to see you. There is no explanation as to why my account has been restricted so that I can either rebut the accusation or make some sort of adjustment to not, trip that wire again. So I have no idea what is causing my restriction, and I'm delighted that my live is going through. It's all mystifying and mystical. And this weekend was my birthday. It has been a very euphoric celebration insofar as, it like touched all the notes. It touched joy, it touched sadness, it touched confrontation, it touched creativity, and I feel like I have stepped through a portal and I am in a new world and a new relationship with life. And one of the things I was asked to make a wish of what I wanted for my birthday, and what I said was, I want truth every second. Truth coming through me, truth coming through those who are around me, truth being willing to be received by those around me. Stu just wrote evolutionary processes. And I am very delighted to have a special guest here. And this is a woman I would describe as a Renaissance woman, because the breadth of subjects that she is knowledgeable about is astounding. And I have been attempting to get her on to this broadcast. Well, this is my 44th episode, and for at least probably 40 of them, I've been trying to get her on here, and for whatever reason, the gods of technology have prohibited that. But as fate would have it, she happens to be here in my home, having come down from where she lives, more towards Los Angeles. I don't know if you want me to say where you live or not, so I'm not. And she's actually, so she came down. We got to go to that amazing So Good Neil Diamond experience that was happening here in San Diego at the Moonlight Amphitheater in Vista. That was on Friday evening, so she was here for my birthday party, my 24-hour birthday party that started Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock, and was one of the two remaining people who is still here and is going to stay with me, because if you've seen my other post marketing the event that's going to be happening at Seaside Church on Thursday, if you are in or near the San Diego vicinity, the Seaside Church of Spiritual Living Seaside Sisters group is hosting a by donation free event called a Wise Women's Crowning Ceremony, and this is open to all feminine identifying beings who feel that they have achieved a certain level of wisdom on their journey, and some are choosing to identify themselves as crones. Others of us are choosing to identify ourselves as wisdom keepers. And so, the age based on the numbers that have been ascribed to this thing that we call a calendar, we're sort of holding that in abeyance. And we are using our I am power to self-determine whether we belong at such a gathering and are ready to be witnessed in embodying our wisdom and being crowned for the divine majesty that we possess. So that's happening on Thursday, and my dear friend is going to be staying with me through that event, and so consequently I am able to have her be here live with me. So without further ado, I would like to invite Rebecca Diamond, and we're going to have to sit super, super close to one another in order to fit into this vertical screen, which is the only way you can go live.
I can't believe we are live.
Come closer, come a little bit closer. Hello, beautiful. So this is a first. This is the first time that I have one of my guests right beside me. Hello. And who we have here online is Stu Schreiber and Frank DeFalco joining us. So our topic today is truth every second. It is an edgy conversation because it requires a willingness to be present to the present impeccably and take life as if it were a movie, take life frame by frame by frame to be authentic in our communication. And I would say that not a lot of us have been trained for that. And so we are training ourselves to do this. So
we have to start by training Facebook.
Yeah, we seriously start by training Facebook, who seem perhaps to have take issue with my topic or something, but here we are, so maybe
here
not.
We are.
Maybe not. Maybe that's not what it was at all. I don't want to jump to conclusions. Okay. Welcome, Joyce.
Hi, Joyce.
Surprise! I have Rebecca Diamond here with me, and
I haven't seen Joyce in a while.
What's that?
I haven't seen Joyce in a while.
Oh, So yeah, so this is an interactive platform, and I absolutely believe that everybody has a piece of the puzzle, and we all have wisdom to share with one another to, as Abraham Hicks would say, take thought beyond where it's been before, and so any time that you want to send in a notification that you would like to come online with us, we welcome you. And in the meantime, I get to talk to somebody live and not just talk to my own reflection on the screen, which is epic. So,
truth.
Yes.
Every second. How do you know if you're living in truth?
How do you know if you're living in truth? I'm going to do the Jewish thing and answer the question with the question.
I asked you!
No, I talk all the time. We want to hear you.
Yeah, I don't know much about truth. I'm learning. I'm really learning. I mean, trying to describe or define what it is that I want has been such a challenge in and of itself. So I don't know, where do you look for I want, or is this true? I've come to the conclusion in my
stay in the frame.
So regarding truth, I mean, just to jump right into everything, because really it is at heart of everything. It's the seeking of truth, and to finally give myself permission to call myself a truth seeker was a really big deal. I got that out of my human design, and it was like it was like the veil had been lifted from me. It gave me permission to be me, to be the truth seeker, to be okay with having been uncomfortable every moment of my life, because nothing ever rang true. So how do you really find if something is true? Well, if the media is saying it, if Big Pharma is saying it,
chances
if
are
the government is saying it, chances are it's not that. It's the not that. So truth every second.
Well, I would interject here that for me, truth has a resonance and it resounds. So when I'm in the presence of it, I feel it. I feel it. It appeals to my sense of logic, and more than that, it has a resonance that feels healing when I hear it. It's like I can rest in it. Excuse me. Cough drop coming in.
Yeah, some people say they know it when there's goosebumps.
So you have been kind of exposing yourself to a lot of truths.
Uncomfortable
truths that shatter the illusion of the world we have believed that we have been living in. And I have been excited to have you here because you articulate these things in a way that I want to share with people, but I haven't immersed myself to the degree that you have. And so I don't feel like I could do these subjects justice. And so I am really thrilled. Stuart is asking if you need your glasses now.
No.
Okay.
Thank you. But I don't have any eyeliner on.
Oh, that's okay. I don't either. The lighting is good, though.
Okay.
Yeah, the lighting is good. Can you hear her fine? That's a question. Can you hear her fine? I'd love to know that. Let's proceed, assuming that they can.
Okay.
There's a little bit of a delay.
So, so what has stopped me from sharing is that thing about truth, about what can be said and what can't be said in a world where the divide is so obvious. There's a narrative that we are living with and under. It's really started long before any of us. I mean, it's really in our grandparents' era. But it's as long as we've been alive. And so we don't even question it as not truth, because it's the truth that we know, and it's it's the food we've been fed. So, you can't expect to get a different result if you're only inputting certain foods. I don't have to go into that one. So,
Sound is good.
Thank you. So, yeah, to find that, I mean, I've come to the place where just nothing is true. Absolutely nothing. There's not one single thing that someone can say that actually is a truth. Oh, the sun rises and the world is round. What is true? Up is up. I mean, really, the whole concept of up and down is just a brilliant one. Really? Like, about the lens, how it flips it over? Right, when you look at something, so you're actually looking at coffee being poured that way, but your eye flips it over so it looks like it's going this way. And the whole concept that Australia is under the world, so they're upside down at the same time, and the world is doing this, so what's up and what's down is illogical. Give me a topic that's true. Say something true. What's true? Truth. So it only really comes down to our individual truth and God.
which is a trigger for a lot of people.
Trigger or not, that's the only truth I can find, is that there's something bigger than us. Something bigger than us. And it preceded us, and it will outlive us. And the it that it is so big it can't be said in a word or in a paragraph or in a book. We can never really know God. But can God know us? That's a whole other thing. And so if we're willing and allowing, imagine that God actually really does want the best for us. Look at the world. God's got a pretty awesome design ethic. I mean, it's done really... God, I don't want to say God. Let me just keep saying God.
I like source.
Source.
Because it's less triggering for people.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Source.
Yeah.
Because really, that's works for me.
Mm-hmm.
Works for me.
Mm-hmm. It's this abstract intelligence that conceived all that is in physical dimension and animates everything, breathes life into it, sustains it, holds it, and determines when it no longer is here.
What do you mean, the it in that sense?
Like the forms that we are, these animated forms, unless we do some radical act and choose to take our own life, we are here as long as that intelligence that I call source is choosing to keep us here in this dimension. So to humble ourselves before that intelligence and to allow ourselves to find our ways to align with it so that we are functioning in service to it as opposed to in service to our own programmed egoic ideas of what we deserve and what we should have and what we should be doing. And we could have everything. My assumption is that we could have everything that is meaningful to us if we're clear about who we're doing it for. If that makes sense.
Have in this world, Landmark says you can have anything in life as long as you're willing to stand for having gotten it. Right? So that's embracing the ownership and the power. It doesn't have God in that phrase. It doesn't have, with source, but it presumes that you are interacting with source because you are actually aligning your head and your heart as the source, the secret. Abraham Hicks would say. Right? So yeah, in the physical, where I want to go with this, but there's, I want to go galactically.
Go galactic, girl. Stu calls it the Schnei. Well, I mean, that was something that we came up with.
What's
the great Schnei in the sky.
The great Schnei. That's a nice one. I like that.
It's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's playful.
Schnei.
Okay, so the goal, the commitment is to be authentic, to be expressing what we perceive as our truth and our experience of truth every second, which, if you're paying attention, is an acronym for TES, T-E-S, truth every second. I have fun with that. Or Source has fun with me having fun with that.
That's my favorite, is looking back and getting the feedback from the universe that it's listening. Like when God is laughing, Like setting up a Facebook, you know. It's like, we have intention, God laughs. And then it works. And we say, thank you, God. It's like the mirror is actually the universe itself, laughing, playing, creating with us. You know, we get to script this, right? This is like the real trick. You guys know that you're writing the script. I just want you to know, you can choose at any instant to create a different life. At any instant. Just saying. Why we have scripted the lives that we have is really the question. Why did I script this life? Like, why do I have this conflict? Why did I have this person in my life? Why do I have this recurring thing going on? Like, what is the lesson? Oh, you know, the lessons, right? Otherwise, the karma, you come back and you do it again. So my belief is we are at a crossroad bigger than ever. Can I go there? Yeah, I'm going there.
Well, Stu says,
bigger, yeah.
He says, go galactic with 3 exclamation points. Loving the two of you together. And this one I can't see while that, I'm the Schreiber. He's the writer.
Schreiber in the sky.
He's the writer. He's the writer.
Okay, you are indeed.
Yeah, okay.
For your script, and I really appreciate that you've included me in your movie. I'm so grateful. And
you
thanks
are
for being
the one,
in mine.
the savior, the choice, creator, director, the viewer, the voice. Thanks for knowing that. Okay.
Well, I want to know every one of your songs.
Okay, Okay, go galactic. We're waiting.
Okay, so here, like...
Are you ready for this? Are you guys sitting in your seats? I recommend that you not be driving. I actually recommend...
Wait, I know where I'm going.
That you pull over. I know, but you're going to blow the roof off the house, and we might as well give them fair warning.
Okay, fair warning. Here's your fair warning. So let's just start at the beginning, okay? So I was telling Stu, actually, just recently, that I actually have that memory of sitting, like, on a bench, like I'm moving down the bench with my parachute on my back, and somebody is yelling at me and screaming something to, like, don't forget, you'll forget, right? And reminding me of all of the things that I have to do in this particular lifetime. On your mark, get set, and then jumping into my mom's body.
Ooh.
That's like a recurring memory. I never understood what it meant, because it was like don't forget, you'll forget. Mindfuck. So this is what I want to say. We're all here for a reason. Every one of us. This is the most exciting time in the history of time. Ever, ever, ever. And every one of us chose to be here. Why? Who are you in the next Earth? Because that's where we're going. This world that we have been living in is an absolute Maya. Matrix is a documentary. Deal with it.
I'm translating. Maya means illusion. And if you haven't seen the movie The Matrix, even Keanu Reeves has described the film as actually a documentary. So while it seems like it's science fiction and it seems like it's in the future, it's actually the world that we are living in.
Thank you.
Continue.
Right. So I say, you are the writer. You can script this any way you like. But let's just talk about some elements that you might not have included in your script that you might have the option to include. That should shift things, okay? So let's back up a little bit, and just before we get to that new elements, let's just go back to that the helicopter and dropping into the body. So pretend you're in a movie right now, okay? Suspend all your disbelief. You can have it all back, okay? Just for a little while. Just humor me, please, okay? Imagine, if you will.
Yes, wealth, okay. Says Stu.
That
vast wealth.
That you have actually been cycling through bodies, and probably every one of us have been probably everything. We've all been Asian, we've all been black, we've all been Cuban, we've all been, okay? And maybe we've all been on other planets or in other species or even animals that we know.
Perhaps. Maybe we're all that simultaneous.
Maybe we're all of those things. And right now, all our little brains can handle are this one little body that we seem to have dominion over. Awesome.
I'm with you.
And maybe it's both simultaneously. All and maybe. So here you are. You've done the cycles over and over, and now you've come into this particular lifetime. In this particular, some people call it a meat suit. The choice that you made, and every day you can alter to accomplish certain things. Things that come up as dreams, the desires, maybe somebody convinced you that you're good at something and that became your desire. Where those dreams and desires and all that stuff comes from, I'm going to give you the chance to process all of that yourself. But the lessons, you know how they go. If you don't learn the lesson, it'll increase. You'll get the same lesson in a different body, a different character that's interacting with you, but the same lesson will recur, and it just gets a little louder, 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 or more physically until you get something literally hit on your head, or you really failed and have to repeat this and come back. Okay?
Yeah.
So it really behooves you to pay attention and make that cycle smaller and faster. Really. Because if you can do this lesson right now and move on to another one, think you could accomplish a lot more instead of having to come back over and over and over. Now, given that this is the time when every single being is going to go right through the eye of the needle into another world. It's happening. You can feel it. You're getting sucked in. You know it. Truth wants to happen. You're questioning everything. You're not having the same level of ease and comfort in some areas, and yet other things are just like grace. You feel the shift. I know you do. Okay, so did you, at this moment, can you look back at your past and say, thank you, my past. You brought me to this moment. And every single challenge I've had, I love that I had it because I felt every possible thing, because I experienced the entire range, and I learned to whatever degree, and I hope I learned everything I could so that I could close that one and quickly move on. Right? If I can close the book right now and put it on the shelf and say, my life has been awesome for all of it to bring me to this point, then you're going to be a lot more mobile too. Because you won't have to carry all the baggage. It's in the book. Put the book on the shelf. You could take that book down anytime you want. Go find that page of remember when, and you can go through all. Trust me, I got lost. I could top a lot of laws. I got them. I know where they are. They come out all the time. They seep out of it. I have to put it back in its room, close the door. Go. I know you're there. Okay, but it doesn't help me in this moment. I can't. So how about being back in this moment? This moment. Truth every second.
Well, this is where we get to face ourselves. And we get to determine whether we are in or out of integrity with ourselves. Because ultimately, the only ones we're ever lying to are ourselves. And as long as we are lying, we cannot be in alignment with the blueprint, the template for which we were conceived and created. As Rebecca was saying, each and every one of us is here for a reason. There is nothing arbitrary in this field that we exist in. There is consciousness and intention in every single molecule that exists. And if we accept that and we reverently bow to that, then whatever affectations that we have taken on out of our self-preservation based on our programming from our family of origin or our early teachers or our fellow students in elementary school or junior high school, whatever our traumas are, the decisions that we made about the world and about life, and the ways we thought we needed to protect ourselves in order to get along, have taken a lot of us into ways of being that are distortions. And those distortions keep us from experiencing the ease and grace and fulfillment that is our actual birthright. I like to employ what I call spiritual logic. And it doesn't make sense to me that this genius source of all that exists, and who has created the seasons and the sunrise and the sunset and the vegetation and the variety of species of sentient beings, would have created us and put us here to suffer, to scramble, to connive in order to get by. It doesn't seem divine enough a reason for us to have been created. So the only thing that makes sense to me is that we wake ourselves up from the hypnosis of the programming and the traumas that caused us to view the world through. There's a beautiful song I wish I wrote, and there's a lyric in it, now you only see through broken lenses. And that's the thing, is that we get hurt, and we're looking through a wounded lens at life, and we have to pull ourselves out of that so that we can connect to the privilege and the blessing of our divinity. And when we're in that space, it's much easier for us to function authentically and in integrity, because it becomes our pleasure and our privilege to serve this intelligence. Eileen Cohn is with us, and Jane Cohn is with us, and she would like to join the conversation. And I am going to see if I can grab you. I can. We're doing that.
Does that mean it's being recorded automatically?
Automatically, yeah.
Super sweet.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yes.
Okay, so I just want to say something about what you're saying.
Please
Everything
do.
you just said was absolutely accurate. I'm not going to deny a single thing. But I do want to say that it is... Oh, she's there.
There she is. Hang on. Yay.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault. That's what I really want you to
Everybody
get.
to know.
Everybody needs to hear this, okay? It's not your fault that you are working your asses off to try and make a life given what you've been told is an appropriate life and what your capacities are, and the capacity that anyone can do, that there's always a ceiling, and there's always a rent, and there's always something that has to be. None of that is reality. That is part of the what has been imposed upon us, and it's absolutely against the Constitution of our United States, which is the thing that we actually really did buy in on. Those of us who are in America said, I'm an American, because we have this Constitution, and we bought into the concept. And that very Constitution has been usurped. It has been altered, and we've been living under it. And the whole world of debt, the whole entire world of debt, everything about it is unconstitutional. It's usury. It's absolutely illegal, and needs to be eradicated, and will be eradicated. And there's the thing I get to say, this is where we're going. But meanwhile, it's not your fault. And so you have to process all of this stuff, because the lessons are yours regardless. They will always be your lessons, but the environment was created so that you can learn those lessons. And that's the beauty and the gift
that this last 2,000 years have been, truly. Because it's in the script. We all know the script. It's right freaking there. Anybody could put the pieces together and go, oh, these are those times. Ah. Right? So why was that there? So that we can come to the glory of Source. So that we can suffer and learn and say, wait a minute, none of this makes sense. The only thing that makes sense is that we work together, that we are recognizing the divine in ourselves, in each other, and in the world itself. That's just the whole reason for this charade.
That's awesome. And that is why we need to approach our healing. Oh, where did Jane go? What happened to Jane? With forgiveness and compassion. And can you feel that? Like,
Here I am.
really, here, what happened? Really being gentle with ourselves as we move through.
Here I am.
Can you hear me?
I
Are you able to
can
hear
hear
me,
you.
Jane?
Yes, can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. We were just
Okay.
on a roll, so we were just kind of like, okay, hang out. We'll be right there with
Okay.
you. So anyway, what I was just saying was that we really need to treat ourselves with forgiveness and compassion as we evaluate the data of what we have been programmed to believe, the erroneous assumptions that we made that we get to take responsibility for, and be super gentle with ourselves and one another as we, what they say, evolution is a team sport and we're all walking each other home. So we really need to come with kindness and patience.
I like that phrase. We're all walking each other home. Beautiful.
It
Beautiful.
is
Yeah,
beautiful,
that's so true.
yes.
Very true.
You have an earpiece?
Oh, hold on a second. Hold on a second.
What's happening to the sound?
Okay, I can hear you now. Okay.
I can barely hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm gonna try something. Hang on a second. I have another one. What happened to it? Oh, it's here.
Oh, well, I can hear you now.
Yeah, but wait a second. I have another Bluetooth, so I'm gonna see if I can make them both work at the same time. So, because if I'm wearing it, Rebecca can't hear you. Okay, so this is connected now. Can you talk?
Okay. Can you hear me?
I hear you through there now. Try putting that on. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Well, I don't know if we even need it right now, but go ahead. Like, okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, great. So we don't need this. Okay. All right, we're with you.
Okay. Good. The most challenging part of these meetings is actually the technology for me.
True.
But that phrase, we're walking each other home, that's so important because it's in connecting with each other that we tap into our divinity and the divine. And it often doesn't feel that way, but it is the opportunity. It holds the key, because each of us are made up of divine attributes that lead to the divine, and that's just the solution. Is anybody talking now besides me?
No, we're listening to you. The topic today is truth every second. So what comes up here?
So you faded out at the end. I heard you say truth every second, which I completely agree with. That's quite challenging. What comes up for me? Oh, you're fading again, Tess. About truth comes up every second. Well, I think what you're really saying is being in the present moment every second, which is quite a challenge to actually be present in the present moment. That's where you find truth. I'm not sure what else to say about that. Truth every second. It's the same thing as love every second, or consciousness every second, or intelligence every second. All these are attributes of the divine. So any one of them that you are tapping into is a channel to divine energy and wisdom and connection. And to me, I mean, that's any one of those experiences is blissful, and it's potential to expand and evolve.
Well, I have to say, can you hear me?
Yes.
I have to say that I believe that we achieved that at my 24-hour birthday party. I believe that we actually, I set an intention and I told it to the guests, and we held a space where everybody was present. Everybody was present the whole time, and it was blissful. Your word, it was absolutely blissful.
I can just barely hear you, but I can if that's the best that we can do.
It is if we want both of us to hear you.
Yeah, it's okay. I wonder why it worked the last time, and it's not working this time. When you had multiple people last week.
I was sitting here by myself.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I was using this in my ear, but if I use this in my ear, then the person sitting next to me can't hear.
Jeez. Oh, that's a dilemma. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we can manage.
Yes, we can.
Let's see.
So
where do we go from here?
Was there any, you wanted to come on? Was there anything in particular that you wanted to talk about?
No, not particularly. I just wanted to join in.
Nice, thank you.
And whatever topic.
Yeah, well, I mean, I specifically invited Rebecca because she is tapped into some truth that is yet to be fully exposed to and embraced by the general public. And it's kind of mystical and fantastical, and the way in which she describes it for me is very believable and exciting in terms of where we are going as a species. And so I would like to let her speak to that.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Drum roll, please. Yeah, so there's so much about the truth every time. So as a truth seeker, I I, I got involved in a lot of
I can't hear Rebecca.
Okay. You know what I think, Jane? I think it's probably better for us to disengage because
Yeah,
I think where it was working better without having the extra guests on. So
yeah, I understand.
yeah, so please
Yeah,
stay in the conversation in the chat and put your comments in there, and I will address them as I see them, and
okay.
this way everybody will hear better.
Yeah, sounds the solution. Yeah, I agree.
All right. All right. Blessings to you. It's always great to see you.
Thank you.
Okay.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Okay. Let's see. We were good the way we were. Let me try that again. Okay. All right. So just give us a confirmation that you can hear us well now.
Both
And
of us.
both of us, and you just start talking, and then they'll catch up to us, and we'll know whether they can hear us.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So,
Axel Love has joined us.
so the quest for truth, different kind of truth, right? There's the inner truth, right? There's the knowing truth. That's like kind of a, a straight line to the highest and best. And there's a truth of what we've been told, and then we're trying to seek out what's real, right? They're different kinds of truths. So that last truth is the one that's kind of got me hooked over my whole life, okay?
And specifically,
And specifically,
I mean, got you hooked. So, like, since you've been in this particular area of research.
this particular area of research, I have been involved for since before COVID, right at the beginning of COVID, I would say, really right at the beginning of COVID. I was getting involved in cryptocurrencies. I started with Bitcoin many years ago, but never could get the mining thing down. And I realized it was just not cost effective for me. So I figured I'll get in when it really had utility. So I let it slide. Mm-hmm. I'm not upset. Don't get me wrong. I think Bitcoin was a brilliant proof of concept. It introduced the concept of decentralization, decentralized finance, and it introduced the concept of digital assets that can be used instantly cross-border, instantly, and then it created the opportunity for that to be infinitesimally, fast and free, or as close to free. So that's not what Bitcoin is, but the concept was created, and of course, store of value, because there was a maximum 21 million Bitcoins, and then also the concept of fractionalizing everything. Brilliant concepts that Bitcoin brought.
What is the store of value concept? Can you?
So the store of value concept is like, so Bitcoin has a maximum. You cannot make more than 21 million maximum Bitcoins. Okay.
You cannot earn, or
no,
you cannot
it cannot
hold?
be created.
They cannot be created.
It's the max that can be created. Now, they're not all in circulation yet. There's probably still about 2 to 4 million unmined, as yet unmined. But there's this thing called halving, which, I don't want to get too complex, but every 4 years, it's built into the algorithm that Bitcoin is, that every 4 years, the amount that can be mined gets halved. So the opportunity keeps shrinking, so it makes it even more valuable to own it, because there's a maximum that can be earned, and that maximum keeps shrinking. Well, the opportunity to grab that.
I have a question. So when you say 21 million Bitcoin, as if each Bitcoin is its own measure, it has its own unit, but does
the value of each Bitcoin, um, is that fixed? Is the value fixed? Because like the value of a nickel might go up or down.
Right.
Right?
Right. So they'd like to call Bitcoin a stable coin, but it's not a stable coin by any definition. It's
Okay.
not. It's not.
Okay.
And so it is absolutely variable. And so if you look at it, it started at, a fraction of a penny and has now gone, it's now in the, I don't know, 69,000 range.
But when you say only 21
21 million, which
million can
interestingly
be
enough,
mined,
at the time that came out, there were 42 million millionaires. So not so if every millionaire can only have half of a Bitcoin. Think about that. What an interesting concept. So already it has value. It has value because it's limited. It has value because because we agree that it has value.
right?
Okay?
Okay. Okay.
So
This is my whole challenge with the monetary system altogether, because it's all contrived,
absolutely.
and it's all based on perceived value.
Correct. Correct. Fiat currency is a balloon. That's it. Any second, it could. I mean, I'm just saying. It's air. It ain't nothing. There's nothing backing it.
And yet Bitcoin is something.
Nope. Bitcoin has nothing.
Bitcoin is also a fiat.
Another nothing.
Another nothing.
It's an absolute nothing. But its perceived value is real right now. Okay? And its perceived fear is real too. But what's not real to people is knowing that Bitcoin actually has been used in the sale. Can I go there?
Go. You go where you want to go. I mean,
Okay.
I don't mind to tell you where
Bitcoin
to
has
go.
been used for nefarious purposes. Okay, so there's this something called the Silk Road. There's the dark web. There's a lot that's going on that we're not going to like to talk about. We're not going to want to believe. We're not going to ever conceive it in our possible. It's not in among our possibilities. It's absolutely over and above. The evil that exists in the world is so evil we cannot it's going to cause a lot of problems in accepting what's truth. And Bitcoin has been used to further that agenda. So that ultimately, FYI, okay? But it's useful now.
You're so amazingly animated. She's so theatrical.
Play to the audience
It's a good
upstage
it's a
row.
good thing all the world is a stage. That's all I have to say.
We are merely players.
Okay. So you explored Bitcoin.
Okay.
And you didn't get into Bitcoin.
No.
And you're glad you didn't get into
Yes.
Bitcoin, because where are you now?
Okay, so Bitcoin happened, then Ethereum was introduced. That took the conversation of digital assets up a little higher. They still call it crypto. I don't like calling anything crypto because that's dead. Okay. But the concept of Ethereum created in its blockchain, because it's a separate blockchain. It's what they call also layer one. They're both layer ones. It created a concept that now you can build other projects on top of this blockchain. Well, these other projects, a lot of them are pretty smart. A lot of them are really clever and starting the process of making good utility of digitizing assets. It starts the process of now we're thinking, and now we can recreate everything that any bank could do. That can be done on a blockchain and more. Introduces the concept of smart contracts. Okay, so all of these are pieces that became added to just a really good concept. Problem with Ethereum is it too has its background in some nefarious projects. So that too cannot move forward. Okay. Never mind the fact also that the mining or gathering these these tokens actually uses far more resources,
natural resources,
and because of that, actually cannot ever scale, and in fact costs in many cases about anything having to do with Ethereum will take crazy amounts of time and almost more than your investment to move it from one place to another. They call that gas, from one place to another. My mother would say, Meshuggah.
It's so funny whenever I hear people say that, because there's a distinction between Meshuggah and Meshuggah. Meshuggah means crazy. Meshuggah is a crazy person.
Oh,
yes.
Meshuggah. Meshuggah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
My mom would say this is Meshuggah, but she would have. She's
a lot of
like
like
anyway.
a
Sorry,
lot
Mom.
of American Jews do it wrong. my
But I won't
parents
make that
were
mistake anymore.
were
So thank you.
European Jews, so I have the inside track on that.
Right.
But I want to say that these things that you're talking about are very abstract and complex. So it's challenging in a short window to really grok. There's a to really grok. Like to try and make tangible for people the value versus the dangers in these systems. So I really would love it if you would see. To me, what I'm aspiring to do here, obviously calling this thing Voices of the Global Awakening, is to give hope. And so what you're describing and the flaws in those things are related to the potential of those things being used for something other than good.
Yes.
Right. And what you have hooked into,
This is going to be good.
what you have hooked into, to my understanding of it, and why I want her to talk to you, is that the systems, the level of sophistication of the systems that are currently in place, that this woman has her finger on the pulse of, is purely set up to utilize the power of good. Like, the power of evil cannot function in these systems.
Yes.
And the fail-safes that have been meticulously put into place.
You're absolutely correctly. Yes. So fraud will be impossible in our new world where we're going. Fraud will be impossible.
And these things have not only, like what they say, what the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. So these things that in certain ways feel beyond our comprehension, feel beyond what we have been programmed to believe is possible. They seem fantastical. Bella Grace says, "Nice, she's getting it. I know she's getting it." Is really beyond this world. Like the level of support that we are getting in terms of technologies and finances and leveling the playing field and empowering everyone to a life of abundance, to shift out of the consciousness of poverty and lack and into our true divine birthright of unlimited supply and abundance for all. And these things are real and happening, and this is what I want you to talk about.
It's real. Yeah. Yeah. So this is where we are. We're actually bringing our dreams into fruition before our very eyes. Open your eyes. It's actually all around you. So that's the clue. Okay. So I just want to say, from where we came, this is the progress. But there's a new world that has. I hate using that expression. Let's try something else.
The new world.
There's an alternate timeline. There are two timelines happening simultaneously. Okay, so we use in this group in which I'm involved. There's a lot of reference to bridges because everything in the world is going to go into this particular blockchain. It's called the stellar blockchain. You're going to be hearing it. Eventually, you're going to know it well.
And what is a blockchain?
So, what is a blockchain? A blockchain is the reason they call it a blockchain is because when Bitcoin started, it would be, in order to mine, you would have to do all these computations, and then you take your results and stick them into blocks. There's like 8 messages, if you will, in every block, and then they post it. And it was just a function of who was posting, but they're posting it and they're attaching it to a string. It's like a chain, and so there's another block added and another block added and another block added.
And is this like computer language?
It's computer language,
okay.
But it's saved and it's replicated all around the world so that you cannot actually say, oh, I didn't send that money to somebody, because you can't hack one server and make it change all around the world. There were thousands of servers. You can't possibly hack them all. So that's the beautiful thing about decentralizing information. So that's what a blockchain is, literally just that data with another block added and another block added and another block added. And so it becomes, if you really imagine it, it actually becomes super bloated. And now you've got to replicate that bloat all around the world. So now you can see why time and money, it's really not scalable. You can see that, right?
I have no idea. I don't know. It's complicated for me.
If you've got something and you make one change to it, now you've got to copy this whole blockchain again, all around the world, because you've added one teeny weeny little piece of information. You just sent $10 to your friend, right?
Okay.
So now that data gets how much power is being used all around the world? I mean, it's
happening now. I mean, it's really happening now in our online banking, and we're sending money to each other on Venmo, and
right. But these are unscalable systems. So I mean, if you want to talk about what's going on in the banking, they've actually already made the switch. So we used to, for decades now, we've been using a system called SWIFT, which is very ironic because it's really slow. So that has already been usurped. So the new system is already in place. There's a lot to talk about as the Basel III. I'm not going to get into the technical stuff, but the banks had to prove that they had enough gold or resources to back all of the loans that they have put out. And now you're seeing a lot of banks that are going to, you've seen banks collapse, you're going to see more collapse, and you're going to see more that are covering each other and joining and becoming bigger banks. And then ultimately you're going to see the banks are kind of useless. Unnecessary. You can do everything in your phone, and with your biometrics, you will be able to send money anywhere in the world instantaneously for nearly zero. It's already here. It's already here. It's already here. I don't want anybody to say, yeah, it's not a pipe dream. It's already here. So what is here? And I'm just going to, let's just go right for the hope, okay? Here's the good stuff. 209 nations, which I believe is everybody, have already signed something called GESARA. It used to be called NESARA, which was the National Economic Stabilization and Recovery Act. It was signed, granted under duress by, and everybody witnessed it, and everybody signed NDAs. But anyway, this was President Clinton on October 10th in 2000. It was supposed to go into effect. It was supposed to be announced on September 11th, 2001 at 10 a.m. Greenspan was supposed to announce that the Federal Reserve has taken over, the Federal Reserve and the IRS have been taken over by the Treasury, and that they would essentially wipe away all debt, and that the seniors would be taken care of, and everybody would be housed, and all kinds of things that were going to happen. And the people who were supposed to see this through had just moved into their new offices at the Pentagon.
Oh.
Okay, anyway.
Not a laughing matter, actually.
So I'm going to just leave that with you. So you can see
do your own research.
Do your own research. So you can see the lengths that people will go to keep the righteousness from happening. Okay, so let's just fast forward a little bit. So that Nessara has actually been kept alive, and that was going to start by returning the land back to the people, because the bankers, if you recall, when they created the Federal Reserve, they all got together and they basically said, "Hey, chum, if we just work together and we keep the rates the way we want to keep it, we can have people put their land up as collateral to build their family. And then when they die, it doesn't go to the children as it's supposed to, and that's the way the Constitution had been written. You pass it to your children. That's not that. So the bankers were able to seize the land.
Wow.
Congratulations. That's how our banking system has been set up. Not for you. So Federal Reserve, you all know, that was created right after the Titanic sank, because Astor and Guggenheim and Strauss were all on that boat. And those were the three richest men who were going to say nay on the Federal Reserve. Okay, I'm sure you all know this. So
they probably don't,
presume.
honey.
Everybody knows the Titanic was sunk because it had some good people. All right. So, okay, where are we going to go with this?
Okay,
so
deep
the
breath.
Gesara.
Deep breath, slow down.
Nessara restored the Constitution. One of the things that happens, Nessara has some really great points on its executive summary, if you look at it. And it's now, it's now become Gesara, global, some might say galactic. But Gesara does a lot of things. No war. No war. If any country who has their conscripts, their peeps somewhere, have to bring them back. Step one. 2, every currency in the world is backed by assets. Every single currency. Fiat, no, gone. So then all the seniors are taken care of. All of our birth certificates are no longer allowed to be sold as chattel. So we actually regain our sovereignty. They rewrite they bring the Constitution back to the original Constitution, and they restore the United States for America.
Do you want to talk about the birth certificates as chattel?
No.
No, okay.
Just trust that we get to be sovereign, unique individuals once again. We are no longer subject to a government, to a country, to serve other, okay? We are sovereign. That's what's going to be restored. And this will be the entire world. So I'm going to start again. 209 nations have already signed on. Please process that. The world that you are hearing about, what you are hearing on the news, what you are reading about, all the dramas, all the wars, all the blah, 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 blah. I'm not saying there aren't going to be some bombs, because a lot of people have been bad. But most of what we're hearing, already occurred more than 2 years ago, and it's just being dripped out to the masses right now, so that we can slowly come around, because everybody must see this. Even the blind must see. So people are very resistant to hearing truth, because truth likely contradicts the truth that they were told and believed. So the lie, it's really much harder.
Cognitive dissonance.
It's harder to show someone that they have fallen for a lie and have them now believe truth than it is to just have them suffer until they see it themselves. It's really harder to tell someone. So we can tell you all every day. So until you see it. So I'm going to just cut to the chase and say, this is what you're going to see. It ain't going to be pretty. It's going to get uglier. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. It's going to get uglier because there is that dissonance, the cognitive dissonance, and because there's so much attachment that we have to this 3D world, this limited world that we have been told
is what it is.
That it is what it is.
Yeah. And from a spiritual concept, it is said that love drives up everything unlike itself for healing. So everything has to be exposed to the light. All that has been hidden has to be revealed. And so much has been hidden from us. And if you are sensitive at all, even though you may have been programmed to believe certain things, something inside you has probably said all along something doesn't feel right. And this is what it is. And it's finally being exposed. And the exposure is excruciating. It is excruciating. And our antidote to it is to be in our hearts and be in our love and be in our compassion and our trust and our faith and our patience and our forgiveness 100%.
Oh, absolutely.
100%, like unequivocal. They say that to people who don't believe in a divine force, no evidence will suffice. And to people who do believe, no evidence is actually necessary. You know, and so that is really where we are. It's like the level of evidence that is being exposed is has to be so harsh and so irrefutable that even those who have been unwilling to stop believing that their government has their best interest are going to have to ultimately accept that to be the case. And not only our own governments, but many governments in cahoots with one another. And it's interesting to be having this conversation because it's like navigating the worlds, because we're still navigating this 3D world, which is the divine play that we've all been cast in as these, finite, limited, mortal characters, while at the same time our cloaks are being dissolved and we're moving up more into our divine light versions of ourselves. So we're really shedding baggage right now. And even that shedding process is painful. It's painful. It's because we are attached. We're attached to our characters. We're attached to our roles. We're attached to what we have been told are our ideal relationships, whether they be romantic partnerships or family units or teachers or whatever it is that we have put our faith in, and it's not actually who we are. It's just characters that we have agreed to go into hypnosis to play for a time, for, as you were saying, Rebecca, this time of awakening. Yeah. To forget in order to remember.
Right.
Yeah.
So it will get easier if you are grateful for your past, grateful for every moment, and again, put in that book with grace, with appreciation, recognize the perfection of every single thing that has occurred in your life to bring you to this point, so that you can be fully you and move into a new world, into your new world, into the new earth that's coming.
Without shame, without guilt, without regret, without blame, without resentment.
No, with complete opportunity, because there's nothing but joy coming. Nothing but abundance and joy. Okay, so can I get to that?
Please do.
Okay, so what's coming? Okay. So there's more than 6,000 patents that have been withheld from us. Things like free energy, things like teleportation and replicators and levitation and telepathy and
Med beds.
med beds. Med beds. That's the first that's good that we're going to actually see that will make the biggest difference on our physical plane first. So these med beds are coming. They're, out of this world technology. There's also
Literally out of this world technology.
there's also earthbound. They're calling med beds as well. There's a lot that have been built on the Rife technology and the scalar technology. So those are also really awesome. Not what we're going to see from the galactic world, but that probably we won't see the galactic beds until probably 2027 fully. In theory, there will be at least 2 beds within 80 kilometers of every person on the planet. Okay, so those med beds, when we do actually get to go through them, will be a one and done. So we will have our DNA restored, not only to health pre-whatever challenges we've chosen or not chosen to take on, but also back to our original state, which was we used once upon a time, in some way back time, we had 12 strands of DNA, not just 2. So that will be restored, as will all of our memories and all of our past lives. And there's some exciting other stuff that comes with all of that. So all of that's coming! Plus, if we've had issues, we will have the opportunity to either erase our memories or
Reset.
Look at them differently. Oh goodness, I hate when I do that.
Reconsider.
We'll try with that one. It's not the word I was looking for, but so we will have the opportunity to come out of these with our memories turned in a way that we see them as positive.
So we're no longer suffering.
So we no longer suffer
Right.
with the memory. We actually can see the joy. If we're not able to do that now, as take the opportunity to really be grateful for our past. If we are unable to do that, then when we go through the med beds, we'll have the opportunity to have it done for us, or just have all memory. We'll have opportunities, choices. Okay, what else is coming? What do you want to see? Well,
Jane, let me see. Is reason spiritually based intentional communities so important? You've got some typos in there that make your statement challenging to understand. Could you state it again? Is reason spiritually based? Is the reason spiritually based intentional communities are so important? That's what I think she means. I'm interpreting all ways.
Okay. We love spiritually based intentional communities. So they are important. All of us joining together and lifting our vibration and our consciousness. That's being intentional about doing that and really learning communication skills. This will help us move so much faster.
Well, yeah, and I, to support what both of you are saying, it's like if we look back to tribal cultures, it takes a village, and in our society, we have been separated from one another, which is the easiest way to control people and make them feel vulnerable, to divide and conquer. And so rather than sharing our resources in this consumer society, we've all been, just buying things that maybe we use once or twice a year, but our neighbor's buying the same thing because we're not sharing with each other. So yes, spiritually based intentional communities that will help us support one another in being in our divine mindset, that we are worthy of all the abundance of the universe, and that God don't make junk, and not a single one of us is a mistake, and not a single one of us is broken, that we are all here very meticulously designed to play a particular role. And when we come to acceptance of that, we then can come to acceptance of our past, the past that led us here, and we then understand that we went through everything that we went through so that we can support others. Because we can't support others without life experience, because then we're just sort of speaking conceptually, but not from a practical place. And even though we're talking about spirituality and metaphysical evolution, we still are, physically based beings, and we need to have practical experience in order for us to make sense to one another and us to be able to trust one another. Oh, I trust you because I can feel what you went through, and you're not just, spouting, what are those words? What is it when, like, I can't think of it right now. You know what I mean.
Aphorism, or I'm not going to guess.
It doesn't matter. You all know what I mean. So anyway, Connie Garsky has joined us, and Louise Herzog has joined us. Welcome. And we are talking about truth, committing to truth every second, even when the truth hurts, because ultimately it will set us free. And so it feels like it is our responsibility to commit ourselves to wanting to uncover truth everywhere. Byron Katie talked about questioning beliefs, that no matter what we say as a statement or someone says to us, the first question needs to be, is it true? Is it true? Does it serve me to believe that? And which thought feels better? And which gives me a greater opportunity to expand? So these things that Rebecca is sharing with you ultimately support our liberation from the constructs that we have believed to be true and that have held us imprisoned with a glass ceiling over our heads about how far we can go. And based on our age, based on our economic status, based on our health, and all of these things can come into question and be transcended, every single one of them.
Yes.
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 And any questions out there, please feel free to put some questions in the chat. We're having trouble bringing anybody else in, although we're capable of doing it. It's affecting the sound quality. So given this is an unusual experience of me having a guest at my side who has a lot to share, I think we're going to keep it to just the two of us on camera. And if you have anything that you would like to contribute to the conversation, please put it in the chat. We are here engaged with you. So, and in the meantime,
So here's some more joy I want to share.
please do.
Turns out that many, many centuries ago, there were some people who said, these folks over here that are infiltrating our country and did damage in your country and your country, we need to get rid of them. And yet they seem to be multiplying and invading our worlds. So we're going to put aside some money, because these are some rich people that we're talking, and said, we're going to put aside some money that we're going to develop a trust that will be increasing in its with interest over time, to be released at the time that humanity is ready for its enlightenment. Guess when that is?
Now! It's now.
So they put this money away. Let's say they put away, let's call it $1 million at their money at their time, which is, that alone is a lot, okay? But it was a lot of money that they put aside. So if you know anything about the rule of 72, or anything
I
about
don't.
compounding interest, just trust that at some point it's a little bit of interest, and then it flips. So it's actually double what it was. And then it doubles again, and it doubles again. Well, it doubles, basically every 72 years, if you consider it that way. So this was, let's say, several centuries ago. So
Isn't that about the length of a fiat currency is about 70 years? The lifespan of a fiat currency is said to be about 70 years,
I
typically.
didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Um, but my point about that is there's so much money. There's so much money. We'll never run out of resources. By the way, that's another conversation. Hold on. I'll come right back to that. But money and gold, okay? There's so much of it. When they actually opened that fund, it had, oh gosh, now I'm forgetting the number, but it was hundreds of zeros. It's not a...
So beyond trillions.
Beyond,
Trillions.
beyond. It's beyond words that we even have.
Mm-hmm.
So, just saying. So, talk about the gold. There's so much gold that, okay, first of all, y'all know there's hundreds of thousands of tunnels underground that connect the entire world? They've got maglev trains that can get people from here to Hong Kong in 30 minutes. I mean, this is how they transfer all of the illicit, humans and guns and drugs and such
Bella
underground.
is saying there is so much money and so much gold beyond trillions,
So
like
much.
gazillions.
Beyond gazillions. Okay, it's beyond Google's. It's beyond Google. So there was so much gold under the Vatican, in the tunnel from the Vatican to Jerusalem direct. It was 11 stories high for 650 kilometers. That it took 650 plane loads plus a tanker. What do they call those? Where you have all of the planes go on that tanker plus the tanker to move that gold. And that gold, much of it was moved to the U.S., but much of it was returned to anything that was taken by the Vatican has been returned to each of those countries. So there's all kinds of gold and treasures and all kinds of stuff that had to be delivered to all around the world. So everybody's got something. Back to that conversation. Every country has some asset backing their currency. It doesn't mean it has to be gold. It's some asset. And that asset in each country, every single country, is tokenizing or has already tokenized their asset.
What does that mean?
Okay, so let's say they have lithium or cobalt or coffee or gas or diamonds or you name it, okay? There's a stash, and the country assesses, we're going to put this much, and they quantify it, and then they break it down
Into
units, and they make tokens that will represent. And so it's either in the physical world or in the digital world, it will always be accounted for.
So just like what our paper money was originally, it was gold backed. So the paper money was basically the token representing the held physical tangible asset of gold until it stopped being that. And then they started to just create paper money with nothing backing it.
Right. Once again, it's consensus. We agree. We're going to let the U.S. petrodollar be the intermediary for everything. Well, you can see around, if you pay any attention to global politics at all, country after country are now doing business in their own currencies. Imagine that. Doing big business, trading in the yuan or in the ruble or in the real or whatever it is. They're not using the dollar. So this is also an orchestrated collapse. A a orchestrated is the word I wanted. It's by design. Okay, this is
You're saying by who? Who is behind the orchestration of the collapse?
That's so good. You would go there.
I am going there.
Well, you guys ready?
Inquiring minds want to know.
Well, let's go backwards and say, I call this
Hey,
the.
Doug. Doug DeStefano's with us. Hello.
Hi, Doug. Welcome to the time out of time in the history of time. So I call this the epic epic. So
That's like miraculous in Moulin Rouge.
this is quite the miraculous,
Go ahead.
miraculous. But this is an epic
Epic.
So this is spelled differently. Okay. So
IQUE.
EPIQUE. I like that.
Epic.
Write that one down. That's good.
Okay.
What is? Why did I say that? Because this is all scripted. Because this has been designed this way. So you asked for who's behind all of this.
Let me interject right there, because I think that what helps me absorb this mind-blowing kind of information is really to keep going back to the Shakespearean quote, "All the world's a stage, all the men and women merely players," that we are all characters in the divine play. So when Rebecca says this has all been scripted, it's like the divine in its amorphous infinite blissfulness conceived this world of duality, of darkness and light, of good guys and bad guys, cops and robbers, and we, from our divine place, agreed to come here and play these characters. And what has happened is that we have become so immersed in our characters that we have forgotten that it is a play. So it is like the stories of the actors that, they're learning their part and they're separating themselves from their family, and they're becoming psychotic because they cannot distinguish between, oh, I'm simply an actor and I'm portraying this. I think I'm actually this person, and I actually have these characteristics, and I actually have these traits. So what's happened is we've gotten so immersed in these roles that we've been suffering because we think we are these characters and we're put upon in the ways that we're put upon. And what's happening now is it's kind of like the old series Mission Impossible. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to come into this world and be a light worker and be a liberator and be one who is lifting the veil for everyone to remember we were all just characters. We've all been in heaven. We've been divine all along. All this illusion of death and decay and destruction is all going to evaporate. It's all going to evaporate. And so even though the times appear frightening, terrifying, depressing, miserable, those of us who are realizing that this has been a play or a movie all along are ecstatic because we're finally coming to the end where everybody gets to celebrate, and we have the prophecies of the 1,000 years of peace and the Jubilee and all this kind of stuff. And so those of us who are speaking, and again, going back to why I'm calling this program Voices of the Global Awakening, is because we each have a piece of the puzzle, and we're coming here shining our light to light your wick so that you can shine a light for others and tell everybody we're okay. We're going to be okay. So no matter all the stories of doomsday and dread and the humanity being a failed experiment and all this kind of stuff, and we're going to go into this kind of Armageddon slavery, we're promising you we're in the 11th hour miracle right now. We're in the 11th. Maybe a slow unfolding. We have to be completely patient because we have to observe frame by frame by frame. We have to be completely present in order to be present to the miracle that we are a part of.
So well said. Mm. How lucky we are. How incredibly lucky we are.
Mm-hmm. So you were saying this has all been scripted.
This has all been scripted. So you asked who was behind it. I'm just
who was
saying.
behind it?
So
in the script.
just so everybody gets, when I say it's scripted, it's biblical, right? It's in the Bible. It's that scope. It's when they talk about good versus evil. You know, a lot of people think that good versus evil is like this. It's like both sides of the head. It's actually not that. It's really a continuum, right? But there is a line. And when you start, if you're consuming, I can't do this. Can't do this, right?
What do you mean?
The level of evil that exists that I was addressing earlier, the level of depravity that actually exists in our world is so evil that it doesn't exist in our continuum, in our consciousness, no matter how much we stretch. It's outside of the understanding. It's an inhuman level, okay? That's not okay. That's not the other side. That's not where we look at our shadow side. That's far deeper than just our shadow. Okay, so when I address, you know, when we talk about facing our shadow self and coming to terms with all of ourselves, if you're of that evil, if you have crossed into that, that's not the same. It's not the same. It's a different world. You can't make space for that kind of evil to be okay. And that's what we have been doing all around us, is making everything okay. Like just stretching this continuum. So now we can include the
child trafficking,
child abuse,
sacrifices,
or sacrifice,
and adrenochrome, and all these horrific things.
All the things I just didn't want to say. There you go.
I'm saying them.
Thank you.
Fuck it.
Thank you.
Fuck it.
If you're drinking a baby's blood so that you can stay young, you're missing the point, and you're not included in my trying to help the world. Out of here. You got to go. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Okay, so
I'm
who's
not sure
behind
I'm
this?
there with you, but go ahead, keep going.
If you're drinking the blood of a child,
I think that you can repent and you can be redeemed,
okay,
no matter what.
So that's a really good point.
Yeah.
So in theory,
unless you're a recalcitrant soul, I learned this amazing word, recalcitrant.
It's a great word,
which is unwilling to shift.
Right. Mm-hmm. So again, as we said, everybody goes through these things, and it's karmic, right? If you're attached to your story and you've been done this and you cannot move into the other world, you're gonna be committed to doing this one again. It's going to be a different timeline. It's going to take a lot longer. Sorry, you got your option now. Clean your life up. Make your apologies. Come clean.
So going back to truth every second.
Every second.
It's a commitment to being in integrity. It's like we were created to walk our talk and say what we mean and mean what we say. And if we're not doing that, now is the time to start. Now is the time to get into integrity and get into alignment.
Yep.
Keep going.
Yep. So, so there's good and there's bad. That's a big distinction, and it really is two separate parties. There's good and there's bad, and the bad has been in control for a very long time, and the bad are going to have to come clean, become good, or they're going to be sent to do this again in another world until they're ready to come to the new world, the new earth. So the good guys, I'm just going to say the good guys and the bad guys. And there are characters involved in the good guys, and all of that too will be revealed.
Yeah, and this part gets tricky for me because if God the Supreme Creator conceived this divine play, then every character in here that is of the divine, even if they are playing the dark, even if they are playing the bad guys. It's like Lucifer. It's like, okay, God, I love you so much that I'm willing to be an evil asshole in the play. I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to be a source of suffering, create suffering for others, and even suffer myself if I have to, if the scenes of retribution need to be played out as well, because ultimately we all go back to source. So I hear you, and this is kind of a place where I'm challenged to believe that anything exists outside of. I mean, I remember after 9/11 being at the Agape Center for Spiritual Living in Los Angeles, and Reverend Michael Beck was saying, no matter what things look like on the world stage, God has not abdicated to heads of state.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so then Abraham Hicks says, stop telling God how big your problems are. Instead, tell your problems how big your God is.
Ugh, hear, hear.
And so every time I hear anything about evil or bad, it's like, oh, this is an opportunity for me to grow my faith in the light exponentially more. So even like when COVID started, and I can feel the nefarious agenda in there, it was kind of like, okay, bring it, frickin' bring it. My God is bigger than that. Yeah. So anyway, that's my take on that, and I totally value everything you're saying. So keep going.
Well, I'm not saying anything different, really.
Ultimately,
Everything is recycled.
yeah,
I mean,
because
it is all part of this plan. It is all part of the script, every bit of it.
right.
I mean, good and bad, and every player is doing their part. I mean,
Yeah.
just like, we all look at I don't know how you are with my, I look at my family and the choice that I made to come into that family, and I have a whole lot of blame. I got a whole lot of issues, but it brought me to question the very things that caused me to be here right now. So every bit of it is glorious, and she's not bad or evil, and gone. You're not going to get to. Everybody's playing their part, and we all have our growth, and all of that is true, even the evil, but that they're not. But the evil itself cannot go into the new world, into the new earth.
Correct.
So
I agree.
so it's like, you have a house of termites. It's not like the termites are evil, but they just don't belong in your house. And you've asked them to leave. They don't understand your language. You've given them a hint. You put on a bomb. You're like, come on, everybody, out of here. If they don't go, you got a tent, because you can't just do a small little area and hope that that's going to tell the rest of it. Doesn't work like that. You got to tent the whole house.
Bella says, this is so good. I agree. My family has brought me truth. There you go. Yeah, because I mean, what I love to say is that underneath all of our human character roles that we play, whether it's parent-child, whether it is lovers, whether it is siblings, whether it is the milkman, whether it is the cashier, that underneath all of that, each and every one of us is an ally in each other's evolution. So that means even our perceived enemies are still our evolutionary allies, because they're presenting the contrast. That which we don't want helps us to identify, who do I want to be? Is that who I want to be? No. And if we're smart, then we use the aspects of the other characters in the play that are rubbing us the wrong way as the things that are polishing our diamond, Rebecca Diamond over here, that are polishing our diamond so that we become more and more refined, more and more elegant in the way we relate to ourselves and to everyone and everything around us. Who do we want to be? Who do we want to be? Do we want to walk in the light? If we want to walk in the light, then we have to come clean with our truth, no matter what it is. And forgive ourselves and have compassion for ourselves and forgive everybody else. And then we're on our path. We're not making it harder for ourselves. We're actually stepping into ease and grace when we come into alignment with the light.
And the more and the faster that we do this, the more we influence others, and all of us come up, and the abundance will actually appear. The ties that have bound us to the system will be breaking simply and easily before we even realize it. So,
because we're choosing to use our power for the good, period. We all have power. And if we are sneaking and conniving and cheating and lying, then we are not on the side of the good. And that, to me, again, is spiritual logic. It just makes sense to me. You want to be on the side of the good, then tell the truth.
yeah. And be willing to hang all of your preconceived or preely understood, kind of makes sense, all the concepts that you have that you have lived inside or that live inside you, put them back again in that box. Be willing to accept that everything that you've ever known is not that. It's something else. Be willing. Just be willing, because then you can be open to surprise and wonder. And that's what's coming, surprise and wonder.
Yeah.
And opportunities galore. So let me just give a little bit more, Joy. Joe, so
Yes,
everybody
please.
knows AI, and such a world of scare. AI is going to rule the world. AI is going to take over your job. That's a good thing. Okay? Every job except creativity, because the human has, remember, back to the intrinsic value of every one of us. So it's in that finding who are you. If everybody in the world, if you've got all the money that you could ever need or want, if your family, your friends, everybody in your neighborhood, everybody in your concept, everybody in your construct, everyone you know has everything that they could want or need. As a presumption, let's just try that as a presumption. If that could be, then what? What are you going to do? You've got everything. What are you going to do? How are you going to make the world a better place? Because you want that, don't you? You want to be a contribution to the rest of the world, right? So who are you? What's your greatest, and it doesn't have to be your greatest, one of your many great talents. How would you like to contribute to the world? That's going to be your hardest assignment, is finding who you are in the face of an entirely new earth that's being created, and joy, and again, fraud is impossible, abundance is everywhere. Everything that
your vitality, your health and vitality are restored. We can overcome the programming, the self-fulfilling programming related to aging and decline and ultimate death.
So all of the conversations that have been a yeah but, or I can't because, all of those conversations gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now what?
Yeah, I feel like for me personally, it has helped a lot to step back from the character that I have been cast as, and to simply be in the wow of the miracle and the privilege it is purely to get to exist. Because by being in touch with what a miracle and what a privilege it is purely to get to exist, puts me in a place of such humility, such humble gratitude. All I want to do is find out what I can do to express my gratitude to the consciousness that conceived me and animates and sustains me. How can I serve this consciousness best? And it might be by being simple and quiet. It might not be anything extravagant, although all of us are vessels and all of us are instruments. And so if we get out of our own way and we stop pressuring ourselves into producing, because I think a lot of our programming related to being a contribution is a mind fuck and causes us to feel like we're judging ourselves and we're comparing ourselves and we're stressing ourselves out because we think we only have a finite amount of time to make our mark and make our contribution, and we fucked it up and we're behind and all this kind of stuff, and it makes us miserable and stressed out. And you know, a Gangaji, the spiritual teacher, says every moment we're choosing, am I contributing to the peace or am I contributing to the chaos? And the thing is that we are part of nature. We are not separate from this glorious dimension that we find ourselves a part of. And if you look out to nature and you look at the birds and you look at the flowers and you look at the animals that are just in their natural habitat, there is a satisfaction and a contentment and an ease and a peace and a trust that exists in them because they're not trying to figure out how to sustain themselves. They're not trying to figure out what they're here to contribute. They're here simply basking in ignorant bliss at the miracle of getting to be here. And that is our birthright. We get to be here and be in bliss for getting to do it. And as we are in our humble innocence and ignorance, and spirit decides to pick us up and use us to deliver this or that or the other thing, how ecstatic is that? And the person who is sitting, you know, swimming or sunning or meditating or whittling is no less valuable than the person who is finding a cure to whatever. Bella is saying, be in the wow. Yes, how can I serve this consciousness best? Am I contributing to the peace or am I contributing to the chaos? Yeah, it is, life is ultimately much simpler and more pure than we have like concocted so much complexity that really has made us all quite miserable. So the things that Rebecca is talking about that is coming to us that has been pre-planned all along. I mean, this is how brilliant our Creator actually is, to have created this divine play that has been going on for eons. You know, it's like I say that we are the biblical characters of today. It's like, you know, we ascribe so much power to our forefathers and foremothers related to, you know, what miracles Moses could enact, or Abraham. We have those same powers, or Jesus. We have those same powers. The Old Testament, the New Testament, the current Testament. We have the same. We are made of the same DNA as our ancestors, and we are as holy and as divine and as sacred as they are. We have just been programmed to forget, and now is the time of remembering. And it is the greatest honor, privilege, and joy to be on the team of those who are helping all of us to remember. Bella, yes, prophesied in the Bible, the chaos, Luke 12:53, New Living Testament. Quote, father will be divided against son, and son against father, mother against daughter, and daughter against mother, and mother-in-law against daughter-in-law, and daughter-in-law against mother-in-law. Yeah. So I have it's 5 minutes to the end of our time together. I got a song called Prophecy.
Oh, beautiful.
We are reaching critical mass. Time to climb to the head of the class. Time to release all the pains of the past. To return back to heaven at last. We have come to the end of the game. We recall all are one and the same. We remove every ball, every chain. Time to dance and to let freedom reign. Prophecy, come through me. Now's the time to set us free. Set us free. Prophecy, God is you, and you are me. There is no one out there to fear. We are mirrors reflecting, my dears. See yourselves in each other so clear. Past the stories and costumes and fears. Rise up, brothers and sisters, return to our oneness, our godness, return. Turn and face one another and see. 'Neath our masks, we are one entity. Prophecy, come through me. Now's the time to set us free. Set us free. Prophecy, God is you, and you are me. God is you, and you are me. And we, all of us, all of us, all of us. I am so grateful to be right here, right now, in this perfect present moment with this divine, amazing Rebecca Diamond, pure, refined, delightful consciousness, and all of you who have been drawn into this sphere to join us. We ask you and invite you to share this video on your pages if you feel so inspired, and to invite other people to come back with you to be here next week and the week after that. We will keep this going as long as we are needed in this role, and whatever other roles Spirit inspires us to. We will be at Seaside Center for Spiritual Living this coming Thursday evening in Encinitas, San Diego, California, for a Wise Women's crowning ceremony That is a free event. Donations are appreciated, love offerings. However, it is free. It is open to any self-identifying feminine that feels deserving and ready to receive acknowledgement for the wisdom you have gained on your journey. Because as I said earlier, each of us has a piece of the puzzle. Evolution is a team sport, and I am honored to be on the team of the light, the power of good, with each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It is 7 p.m. Do you have any final words
Can I
before?
say about QSI?
Say whatever you want.
So if you want to explore for yourself, do your own research, the best place to start is on Telegram, where it's not censored. Go to Telegram and look for Quantum Stellar Initiative. There's about 50,000 people on there now, so you'll know which one is the correct one. Quantum Stellar Initiative on Telegram.
Be sure you don't join an imposter program. Quantum Stellar Initiative. Blessings to everyone. Thanks for joining us. See you soon.